One Bay Area student's effort to create a statewide Ruby Bridges Walk to School Day is now getting the attention of state lawmakers. We first told you about Daisy Casey in June. She's the fifth grader at Martin Elementary School in South San Francisco. She and her classmates have been leading an effort to create a nationwide movement to honor bridges. The now civil rights icon was 6 years old when she faced hate and insult as she walked to her first day of school to attend a previously all-white school in New Orleans on November 14, 1960. Now, California Senator Josh Becker is leading an effort to establish November 14th as Ruby Bridges Day. Senator Becker joins us now to tell us more about the bill. Senator Becker, we appreciate you taking time out to speak with us. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
Talk to us about Ruby Bridges Day and why you're so passionate about it.
Well, I think it's super exciting. First of all, this came from the students in the fifth grade class of Deborah Carlino. This would not have happened without them. And Ruby herself is a role model to our youth and particularly to young girls. And she shows the potential that they can have. And clearly these fifth graders took Ruby's lesson and Ruby's legacy to heart. And they made this day happen. They did it at the local level. They did the county level, and then they probably do it at the state level.
This is just evidence that really the children, Whitney Houston said it in a song, the children really are the future.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, these kids are amazing. They've made this happen at every level of government. They've been incredibly persistent, and they brought Ruby's story to this new generation. Many didn't know. Even I wasn't very familiar with Ruby's story of being one of the first to integrate an all-white school, and her dignity, her grace, while an angry mob was confronting her, is just extraordinary. And the fact that our fifth graders at this elementary school got motivated by this story and have now brought it to wider attention, and now we're creating this day. It's incredible.
So where are we in terms of this bill, in terms of timing and what we can expect next?
Well, so we're bringing it to the floor of the state Senate, and if we get a favorable vote, then we move it forward and bring it to the governor. So it's really something that has to happen pretty quickly. We're hopeful that we can execute in the next couple of weeks and get this done.
All right, it's definitely something to look forward to. Switching gears now, Senator Becker, you're a strong supporter of Governor Newsom. Just kind of wanted to get their thoughts on the recall election. It is just days away. What are your thoughts of the whole process and where we are with it?
I hosted a big rally in East Palo Alto last weekend, and the turnout was strong. People were really motivated. They see that we don't want our state to go backward. This is really an overreach. We've got an election next year. So to spend $250 million now on a recall is really outrageous. And in fact, when the governor is delivering, he's delivering on so many areas. If you look at this budget, what we've done for early childhood education, what we've done for K-12 education to get our schools among the top 5 funded in the country, what we're doing around broadband, what we're doing around higher education access. He's really delivering, and we need more time for results to show sometimes. But there's an election next year. If people don't like him, they can vote him out then. But to do this recall now would just be outrageous and really chaotic.
What do you think is most at risk if the governor does lose the recall election?
Well, you just think that logistically, we turn over all the agencies, all the heads, people running fire, people running the health department, people running all the agencies. We turn them over now, and then in 8 months there's another election. They probably would be turned over again. So it would just be incredibly chaotic and destructive. And we'd really lose progress on a whole bunch of fronts, including education, including fighting wildfires.
Now, you mentioned wildfires, or fires. Wildfires, a number of them are burning in the state. Northern California is being ravaged right now by the Caldor fire. It's just something we continue to see every year here in California. There's no traditional fire season anymore. It really is year-round. What does the state plan to do to help with it? And is it too late to kind of alleviate what's been going on with the wildfires, at least for this year?
Well, there's the short-term, medium-term, and long-term. I hosted a town hall on wildfire technology There's a lot of innovations now happening in how we can much earlier detect these fires and put them out while they're small. That's really where we need to go. Um, for now, for these massive fires, we need all hands on deck. We need to get the firefighters, the heroic firefighters, the resources that they deserve. And we need to, at this point, contain the damage on those. That's really the short term. Again, the medium term is these new technologies and new ways of just detecting these fires and getting them out earlier. And then the longer term is climate change. And we're combating climate change. We're trying to take bold action. And in fact, we need to take bolder action on climate change so the forests are not as dry. And we don't have these conditions that are just right for these massive, massive fires. So the last part is really the budget. And that's what we're working on right now to land in the next couple of days. And that's more money for thinning forests, more money for the controlled burns and other things that we can do to make fires less intense and just less damaging.
Do you think that if Governor Newsom does lose the recall election, we could lose headway or progress with the fires and potentially move backwards?
I do. I mean, like I said, we're in the 11th hour in some of these negotiations to get really billions of dollars for some of these projects, for some of the thinning, for some of the fire breaks, for some of the for the controlled burn. So we're making a lot of progress. There's a lot of negotiations with the federal government because a lot of it is federal land that these forests are on. So there's a lot of very sensitive things going on that could be disrupted.
As we head into the Labor Day weekend, Senator Becker, a lot of people are traveling. We are still in the middle of the pandemic, and I guess data is showing that a lot of people are doing domestic travel. Are you worried, and are you and your colleagues worried about unvaccinated visitors coming into the state, given the Delta variant? I know a lot of places now have a mask mandate here in the Bay Area. There are counties that require, San Francisco County, for example, requires vaccines to go into some of the indoor businesses. But should we be concerned about this weekend with regard to potentially unvaccinated travelers coming into our state and then increasing our numbers?
Well, we hit a big milestone. I think 80% of our state has now had at least one dose. So we're doing a good job. And I think we should be somewhat concerned about folks coming in from, there's other states who are not nearly as vaccinated as we are. So, I think there's reason for concern, but I think as long as people take the proper precautions and, are just careful, use common sense, use masks when appropriate in indoor settings, and just take care, I think we're going to be okay. I mean, the Delta virus is of course, as we know, it's very contagious. But I think if we can get through the next 6 weeks, we're going to see Delta start to peter out. So we just need to keep using common sense and take the precautions that we've been doing.
And I can't help but ask, we have hit a major milestone here in the state with regard to vaccinations, but a lot of the candidates running against Governor Newsom they are against vaccine mandates. They are against mask mandates. I'm not sure what their plan is, but it seems that if we become a Republican state, a lot of those requirements and mandates across the state will be dropped, despite having such a high vaccination rate. Do you think that if a lot of those mandates get dropped or a lot of those requirements get dropped, that we could see another surge?
Well, unfortunately, if you look at states like Florida, states like Texas, they're seeing a massive surge right now. And it's frankly because they're largely unvaccinated. They certainly don't have the race that we do. And they've put in laws to reject any mask mandates of any kind. And those are issues. I mean, listen, I fought, as you covered my call for our school districts to require vaccinations of all teachers and staff. And a week later, the governor made that law for the entire state. So we've made a lot of progress here. And I am concerned that could be undone, especially in the next 6 to 8 weeks while we're still fighting Delta. Again, eventually Delta is going to start to peter out. But these next 6 to 8 weeks are really critical. And I am concerned that, yes, if one of these other opponents in the recall were to be elected, we could take a major step backward.
There are definitely a lot of moving parts, especially considering the recall election is 11 days away. Senator Becker, is there anything that you kind of want to leave our viewers with regard to any of the issues we discussed, or even Ruby Bridges Day and the bill that you're efforting to make that a day here for us on November 14th?
Well, I just say first on the recall, get out and vote. Whatever your position, get out and vote. This is a special election, so a lot of people are not focused on it. Get out and vote and exercise your constitutional right to vote. On Ruby Bridges Day, I just want to say, I'm so inspired by these students. I hope you will be too. Let's get this done. We'll make November 14th happen and celebrate Ruby's legacy.
All right. Well, Senator Josh Becker, we really appreciate your time. Thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.